Alrighty.
Okay. Oh, was it clear when you from back then? Okay, cool. All right, you can say what you're saying now. Like, given what I just said to you.
So, I mean, I was saying like, was it I'm not like, I intuit that there's an importance
Yeah.
to feelings and emotions. Otherwise, like God wouldn't say something like, "Look for the hope laid up for you in heaven," and that allows you to have faith. You know, like He's playing on your emotions.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like He wants you to feel joyous praise to Him.
Yeah. Yeah, because all the different ways of emoting, they all converge from fear to like hope.
Yeah. So, me looking at my experience as a Christian, I was like, okay, I haven't really felt the Holy Spirit, but that doesn't. Now I can kind of more confidently say that doesn't mean I'm not Christian.
Right.
That means I'm just not at that place yet.
Yeah.
But that's not gonna stop me from doing what a Christian's called to do, like pray, read the Bible, try to through the Holy Spirit and praying it down, help me understand His Word, so that I may keep growing until hopefully I get that experience. That hope that's laid up for me in heaven right now is the feeling of the Holy Spirit, and that's what's drawing me to it. Like that's my Christian hedonism right now. It's my addiction right now. And it's like a breadcrumb leading to Jesus.
Yeah.
So for me, like right now, the joy of the Spirit, and then I don't know, maybe like in 2 minutes or in 20 years, I'm gonna feel that.
That's not gonna be 20
Hopefully
years.
not. It's
It's not gonna be 20 years.
I really hope not. But like, you know, when I say this, thy will be done. Like it's like really scary because there's a possibility that it's 20 years or my deathbed. You know?
Trust me, that's highly unlikely. Like,
how do you know?
Because
you're not God.
That's true. There's possible, but I'm saying it's implausible. That's what I'm saying. It's highly unlikely because it's like, I mean, from your dream, when you had the dream of like the wooden, like the Jesus on the wooden cross.
How do I know that's not Satan?
Why would Satan give you a dream of Jesus touching your heart? That doesn't align. That aligns biblically.
Though I say that because I felt a little uneasy. Maybe that's the fear of the Lord, but I don't know. I don't know how to discern my feelings.
Okay.
Because when I felt that, like, there was a part of me that wants to shake myself awake. And then when I woke up, I was like, oh shit, like, I should have wait for the message.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know how to discern if that's.
I just learned it was like, well, that's Jesus, and that's how lots of people react to him when he's trying to touch their heart. It's just like sometimes your heart will be resistant. Like, no. I was like, I want to keep my heart how it is. It's kind of like you read that book by Diego Hernandez, right? On like the spirit was like talking about. He had a dream of a dark cave, and there were different places to go that was dark.
Yeah.
And Jesus was with him, like glowing in glory or whatever. And Jesus was like, can I go here? And he's like, okay, go here. And then we'll go there and become illuminated and beautiful.
Yeah.
He's like, can I go here? He's like, okay, here. So he kept on going throughout the cave, and then eventually there was a place that was like really dark. And he's like, can I go here? And he like hesitated. He was like, I don't know. Like he was like, kind of like, I'm not sure, like whatever. And I don't remember what happened, whether he woke up or whatever, or he let Jesus go. But he just said that dream told him like there are places in his heart, thinks about himself that he still hasn't let go of yet, despite him actually having felt the Holy Spirit and him progressing and like having visions and dreams, like hearing God and stuff and doing miracles, all this stuff. He's still like there's still parts from like I'm still giving myself to him, like because living sacrifice. You're still living, sacrificing. So there's still a feature of us. In fact, even with me, like it's just like I told you how like my mom, despite all the stuff that she's experienced and been through, all the different medical rescues and just crazy things and stuff. Like there was a period where she was like, "How do I know this stuff is real?" She was like, "What if all this is fake?" I was like, "Is this real?" And stuff like that. She questioned it. She was like, "Oh, is it real?" Then she turned back. And then her head kicked back. She's like, "Well, this is happening, so obviously it's real." So she's like, "I'm going with it." And He's proven himself faithful. And I told you about like that through line you can. That persistence takes you through. So it's just one of those features of like being human, where like just like I told you, to be human is you can affirm or negate, and you can also like be pro-human and anti-human. There's also a feature like you can doubt what is faithful and be faithful to what's doubtful.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's that whole discerning thing. That's why I also put it in terms like go on offense. Seek what is trustworthy.
Okay.
Don't like I really much think like when I'm doubting something, it's because I trust something else. So it's like I have to discern like what do I trust? What am I believing here that's making me doubt this? Then that kind of clarifies me like, and also what I'm doubting is like, because there's a way in which like you're like I believe, but what I actually do also fear or don't doubt is like I told you how like I believe me believing will still fail. So you see that's where you put your faith there. It's like, but then you have more faith towards there more than you can say Yahweh. So then it's like, okay, let me give that to you. It's like so it's like there's also like this interesting way in which like I'm still like trying to gather this and like, oh, take this. So it's like that whole like help my unbelief. It's like I believe, but like my unbelief is that my belief will fail. So it's just like, here, take this unbelief, so you can take it, and like that's still like me redirecting all towards you as a belief. It's like almost like a meta faith. Remember I told you how like when I was getting lost and stuff, and I was starting to like leave Jesus and stuff for different reasons and stuff. I had in the background I was like this: if Jesus is the case, where I'm going, he'll meet me there, and he's also behind me. So because I had like a meta faith, I had a faith about faith. I was like, oh, is this legit? I'll be there. So yeah, it's just fascinating. It's just an interesting process. But yeah.
So from my dream, my doubt that it might be Satan. Like, how do I process that? Do I just say like, okay, like, do I just pray about it?
Yeah, they pray about it. Just ask for another dream or something. Like give me.
Help me confirm this dream by.
Yeah, something like that. Like just give me a better sense of things, and because I guess you put it as like, well, if it was God, why would I be afraid? And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you be afraid if he's asking for your heart? He's trying to touch your heart. He wants your heart, and it's like, what is your heart? Your heart is like your motivations, your intentions, your purpose, what you want, your self-will, what you want to do for yourself, like what you want to guard about yourself, what do you want to hide away about yourself from other people and from him. It's all sorts of stuff. So it's like, if he wants that, he's like, I want everything. And it's like, he puts it like, you're dying. Like, you're dying to yourself. You're going to become a new creature. And you're just like, I want to be who I am right now. Like, I want to, this old man, I want to be here. And this feature of me wants to control things. And wants to, like, be safe. As if, like, I can fall and grab onto air.
And also, it wasn't like, your typical, like, ray of light trying to touch my heart. It was like a wooden thing coming to life. It's scary. It's like,
but there's something metaphorical about it. It's like something wooden. Like it's like you could say it's like a resurrection, because the wood has been carved. It's like this tree that was living, that was chopped up, but it came to life. Yeah, resurrection.
I mean, that's a metaphor of the dead tree and the living tree in the beginning, and Jesus' cross.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting. I hope it can hear us.
We'll see. I mean, what we already have is also good.
That's true. But this part is actually very more important too. Like,
so?
Yeah, it's very important, because this was the point of the video, because you were having this problem, and like this is what we're talking to right now.
Yeah.
So in many ways, what's happening is like, let's pick it up and move. Yeah, because it's one of those things.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, to recap, we just said believing, because it's like, you can have multiple thoughts at the same time. You can have multiple feelings at the same time. So you'll believe here, but you also believe this. Mm-hmm. And by believing this, you disbelieve this. So there's a way in which, like, you almost get like layers of belief, or you could say like different, almost like different interactions of belief, if you will, like different ways to make this metaphor. It's like, if you want to structure it this way, your overall belief is like, you believe in Jesus, and you believe he can do some things. Mm-hmm. But then within that, it's like this sense like, okay, I'm believing in Jesus, and I want this particular situation, this particular thing, but I don't believe this belief for this particular situation, this particular thing that I'm expecting or want. is the case or will happen. Despite me believing in Jesus, there's a way in which you can say I'm not, I can almost put this like you're not, with the logic, the animation of what this belief in Jesus entails is not clicking for you. To be able to guide, like to be able to like animate this inner belief that's now doubtful. You get what I'm saying? Just let me put it this way. I always have to remind myself this, like, okay, and this one something I'm constantly pointing out to people when I talk to them, is like they don't get the logic of the premise. Where it's like, if you say something like this is what all this entails. Like that's why I always put it like, if this, then this. But sometimes I feel like people don't fully follow because they don't get it. So it's like this. Maybe because it's like, frankly, we're stupid. Okay, let me just put it that way. We're fucking stupid. Okay, like it's just like I'll say something like, if Yahweh made everything, He can do this. But people will say, yes, I accept that. If Yahweh made everything, He can do this. But then they come to a situation like, okay, I want this to happen, but I'm not sure if Yahweh will do it. Or I'm not sure if Yahweh can do it. I'm not sure if He can do it. And it's like, but you already accept overall Yahweh can do all of this, and this that you're asking for something He can do. Yet you're doubting Him to be able to do it. So there's this like dissonance. There's a split. So it's almost like the larger overall, they accept the larger premise overall. You can say intellectually, but it doesn't click mainly because it feels like as if like I guess they're not processing it, they're not thinking it through, letting it flow. And that's usually what happens with me sometimes, where it's like I almost have to resettle myself, like readjust myself, because it's not, for me, most of those things are not merely a matter of feeling or whatever. It's more like based on what I know about this person and my sense of this is what's going on. And it's never a matter of like, oh, well, I feel like I'm being fake, you know, like I'm like, no, I just know I'm deciding, and a decision is an action. And you could technically almost say like, well, every action is a type of fakeness, or you could say it's a performance. I'm like, well, yeah, because you have to perform, you have to act. But if you always wanted to like, I want to feel right, or I want to feel like, am I tuned in? It's like, no, it's like, you don't always have that. So, I guess I have this sense like when I put it in terms like you're gambling or risking or testing or whatever, there's a feature of it where it's like, it's almost like, it's like the people who wait for motivation before they act. That's kind of how it feels like, where it's just like, oh, I'm waiting for this alignment before I try to align with this. Like, I'm waiting for an alignment in me concerning reality before I try to pursue reality as I have it to align with it. And it's like, I don't know, it just strikes me like, I guess it feels like you're doing it backwards. Where it's like there's a feature of you that's like, I'm waiting for myself to happen a certain way, to activate a certain way before I happen with this. And it's like, because now, especially if happening with this already affords for you to engage with this a certain way. If this situation that you have is presenting you an opportunity, like Jesus is like, okay, accept me, pray to me, and I'll reach to you. And you're like, no, I'm waiting for something to click in me to like, till I can accept you and pray to you or whatever. It's like, well, you're just not doing it. Because he's not, there's almost a feature of like, I guess in some ways, sometimes I feel like for some people, he makes them feel it. I don't know, I don't really know what his motives are, but I guess it almost feels like it's more genuinely chosen when you don't feel it and you still commit, and then you come to feel it. You get what I'm saying? And that's kind of one of the things I'm kind of noticing, where it's just kind of like, it's almost if for me, it's like he's covering my main dependencies, if you will.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of like being like, look, the fact that I know.
So that you can really choose him.
Exactly. So that's kind of how it feels like to me. And that's what I've been noticing, especially as I'm getting confirmation from places I don't want to rely on. I'm getting a message from a place I don't want to hear the message from, even though like it's working and it's being confirmed for me. So after a while, I was just like, you know what? I'll go here, and then eventually this message will come. But the only difference between me and you is like, I've actually had the message come from where you're trying to get it from before. So I have memory of that, even though I can't feel it right now, and I wanted it again. So I'll have a sense like, oh, this has happened before and it happened again in continuity. But now I'm getting it in different places coming to me. Especially the fact I'm getting it through other people. And there was a period where I was like very angry. Like when my mom was trying to take me to church, I get like frustrated. I was like, no, I don't want to go there because they tell me things and I'm waiting for it to happen, but it's not happening right now because I'm impatient. And so I'll get like whatever. Then I just start binging on porn or just doing whatever I want to do, whatever. And then eventually I start getting miserable and kind of suicidal and lost in life again. Then I come back and I'm like, okay, I have to focus. There's this sense of like I'm not doing right. But so now I'm just like, all right, let's continue this. Like, let's go. I'm failing, but I'll trust you and let you develop me. And things seem to align still. And it's like, it's just not aligning in the way I want it to. But I'll trust you. So yeah, just tell me what you think about that.
Well, there's a thought that came up, like, there's a bunch of people with their testimonies that are like, oh, like, I saw, God told me in this light, and like, it almost felt like, yeah, it feels like what the joy of the Holy Spirit outflowing would feel like. It's like instantaneous. It's like nothing that you had to do with it. So like it makes me go like, well, if God just like shows you who like that, and it's like undoubtable, then like isn't that transgressing free will in a sense?
No, it's just informing, just giving you things to take in that you can use to choose. Because you can still have that experience of like, if it's not like real,
you can still doubt it,
or you can still doubt it. You can be like, oh, maybe it fits into this.
That's true. That's
one of those things. Then, like because while you were saying, I was thinking of like people in the Bible who like got different, you could say, ways of Jesus communicating himself to them. Like for some people, he spoke about their lives. Other people, he did a miracle. Other people, they heard rumors of his miracles, and they believed that he could do certain things. Then he asked them, then he did a miracle. So like people are receiving him in different ways. Not a lot of people receive him the same way. So he's kind of showing that, look, there are multiple ways I can communicate with people, and even two people through other people. And
so I guess in your circumstance, he's trying to help you.
I mean, let me put it this way: my brother Jamonte, he sees more spiritual things than I do. My sister Rosamund has dreams. My brother Zachary has dreams. I don't get none of that. Like that's you see what I mean? Yet, what I get is, you could say, like, I guess, understanding. So they give me stuff I'm not getting, and I get the stuff they're not getting. You have the more heady, like, and also it's
like
it's that whole church thing. Like some people are hands, some people are feet.
You get the gift of getting stuff we take for granted taken away from you. To realize how much you depend on God.
Exactly.
The same way I have to go through doubts of my faith. To understand what it really means for the gift of faith. It's like not mine. Maybe something like that.
That's my sense too. No, it's a gift of faith. The thing is, I guess sometimes you'll get something. Like there are ways in which you'll get something, and yet you will expect it to be a certain way. Like take Jesus. He was there. Like
he's not like a battle Messiah.
It's like, you see, so like you have you have faith.
But
it's just like, but I thought it was supposed to be like this. Like, I thought it was supposed to, like you start, like, I mean, imagine Abraham. Like Abraham, like you promised me a son, but nothing's happened yet. And then my wife's like, hey, sleep with my servant girl or whatever. So it's just like, it's just like, and yet, even though he had seen God do things, despite that, he still doubted that and still went through with his wife's plan to have a son. So, and yet he's still considered like a father of faith. So it's fascinating where it's like,
interesting.
Those who make mistakes still, those who still doubt, those who take things into their own hands to try to fulfill a plan, a promise that God gave to them. Because that's also what I was doing too. I was like, oh, God promised me these things will be happening, and yet I was like, oh, I'll do it on my own. Meaning because I don't trust you, because I feel like you set things up in a way that most people will fail. So I'm going to try to do it in a way that will be proof that everyone will succeed. But while doing it, I've learned this is why most people will fail. So then I'm like, okay, I'll let you do it.
So I guess like when you said like it's highly unlikely that I would not experience the Holy Spirit sooner rather than later, right?
Because
what makes you say that?
Because as you're praying, fasting, and interacting, things are being tuned. So things are being communicated to you. Like,
because people go their whole lives without feeling that.
Yeah, some people do. Some people just get it from other people. Like I've never, like I don't think, well, I probably will, but I've yet to have a vision of like, like my mom's seen so many different things, and my youngest siblings, they're younger than me, and yet they've seen way more than I have my whole entire life.
Right.
So it's like, but the thing is, Jesus put his like, for those much is given, much is more is required. You see, so there's a way in which, if you do get that, and you still reject it, it's worse for you.
So we get the difficulty turned down a bit, but it's harder because we don't have that like burning of the bush experience.
Yeah. Like my brother, he actually hates the fact that he sees things. He's like, I don't want to see like demons and spirits and stuff, and like I don't want to have dreams of what's gonna happen in the future, and just especially while he's like, because I talked to him, I'm like, well, why don't you just give yourself to Jesus? He's like, it feels like, I don't know, I don't fully get him, but he's like, I guess he feels, he says, I'm not resistant, but I'm just not willing to do it. I'm not willing to put myself in his hands. I'm not committing to him right now. Even though he's giving things to me, I don't know. Maybe him and I will make a video, but he's just doing his own thing. He's distracted. He has his own plans. Actually, I think I know. He said there's things he's trying to do. There's plans he has, and he feels like if he gives himself to Jesus, Jesus won't let him do what he's trying to do.
Also, he's trying to test Jesus by seeing if Jesus will...
No, it's not testing. He wants to do what he wants to do. But he feels like if he gives himself to Jesus' plan, he'll be able to do his plan. So, it's just one of those... So, it's just like, here's a guy who knows the spiritual stuff is legit. He knows he's legit, all this stuff.
So, he wants to do his stuff first.
Yeah.
But he also, sounds like, understand that Jesus can stop him in his tracks.
Yeah. But that's human beings. I mean, if you listen to Jackie Stout's testimony about how like a false prophet tricked her into thinking that some man was her husband, but the whole time she was pursuing him, she was getting signs he's not your husband. This prophet is lying, but she wanted him really bad because he was attracted to all these different things, whatever. And she was explaining how like God was telling her start a YouTube ministry, and she was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want a husband, because she idolized marriage. She always wanted a husband. She was like boyfriends. So some people who just seek certain things in life. Some people it's glory, some people it's money, some people it's relationships, whatever it is. Some people it's like just cool experience, some people it's like intellectual understanding. We all idolize different things. So eventually, after that failed, and she like felt like she was deceived by God, she fell into like all sorts of stuff, drugs, sleeping around, all sorts of different things and whatever. And then her life was falling apart. Then she decided to calm down. God called her back, and then she reconciled herself to him. And then she decided to follow him. He's like, okay, I'm listening to you now. Starts her YouTube. Later, tell me why her husband finds her through YouTube. So it's like it's just fascinating. Where it's just like it's almost like God's like, look, I was already gonna give you what you're looking for, but because I was giving it to you the way you wanted it, and at your time, you did whatever you wanted, failed, got angry at me, got out and hurt yourself. Yet if you had just listened to me, you would have already got what you wanted faster. So, because in fact, in many ways, God was saying like, start the YouTube because that's where your husband will meet you, and that's what happened. It's like, but she wasted so much time not following God, not obeying, not doing right by him, that it just made the thing take longer. It made it worse. Like the Israelites with the 40 years in the desert. It's like, well, because of this, now you're gonna 40 years till like shall die out, so the new generation will go. And that's how human beings are.
But it's also like when you try to unfold like God's sovereignty into it, it's also necessary.
I mean, it's necessary in the sense that you need like the signals made out of noise. That's the necessity part. The noise is there, that God exists, that he makes all exist. But the rest is just the happening, and there's a future of the choosing to make things happen. But it's just, there's a way in which interactions limit and liberate other interactions, enhance and dampen other interactions, and so on. You get these different states of how life plays out. So, because sometimes people want to put it like a through line of like one, you could say idea, such as everything necessary. Everything. I was like, it has to happen like this way. But it's like, but it could easily have gone this way. Like if you read the Bible is a story of just, it could have just gone this way. It didn't have to go this way.
Yeah.
Yet it puts out the meta story like, well, irrespective of how it goes within this, it's already set. God already knows it all. Like take Saul. King Saul was originally supposed to be the king of Israel. He was supposed to be a descendant of Saul, but he failed, so it became David. You see?
Because didn't he already see that happening? I'm not getting it, actually.
I don't know. Let me put it this way. I keep giving you this. They're seeing him knowing it happening is because he is what allows all to happen. He's the foundation, the backdrop that all happens as. But there's a difference between being what lets all be and what is within you not letting it unfold as it unfolds. Like it's just the future of agency. Agency is so weird. the sense of like you can model yourself and act on that. You can model the world and act on that. The sense like you can choose to move or not move. This sense you can choose to kill yourself or kill other people. That's weird. That feature makes it so you get all this complexity, all this variation. But that feature happening is like signal that is made out of noise, and the noise is just the feature of just the fact that you can be, that you are. So, because it's that whole like free will versus determinism debate, whatever, where my sense has always been you only can have free will if you're determined as some way. And it sounds weird to people because it's like, because from people sometimes talk about free will, it sounds to me they're basically saying, well, you can't be free because you are a certain way. I'm just like, no, you're a certain way to be free. Hello. And it sounds like people like if people won't hear me because it's like, because if you aren't a certain way, what is free? There's no such thing as free. You're not a way to be free. But because you're a certain way, now you're free. Because it almost amounts to basically saying like I have to either be the totality, be basically Yahweh to be free, or I have to not exist. Those are the extremes. But it gets even weirder because there's people who actually, like I was arguing with this atheist guy who was like, well, Yahweh isn't actually free because Yahweh's nature. Okay.
Stuff is falling.
Also, okay, cool.
Keep talking.
Okay, like, so I was talking to an atheist guy online with one of my friends, Justin, and different people came in too, but it was on Facebook, and Justin, he's a Christian basically. He follows Jesus. He has lots of mystical experiences. It's very interesting. We talk. We also have the same personality. We work in similar ways and have a similar unfolding. But anyway, the guy was arguing like Yahweh actually can't be free because his nature makes him do what he does. And I'm just like, okay, this is a weird way of thinking. He's thinking mechanically. Because most people, when people talk about free will, they always digitalize things. They break things down. They said, this happened, this happened, this happened. So they explain like there's a gap. That's like hits this and hits this. Like they think of billboards. So they have an interesting metaphor. I'm like, well, we have multiple processes that happen not like that at all. So it's just interesting how like that's the main metaphor you keep working with. But anyway, so he was saying this, and eventually I realized that's what he was saying. But when I was saying like, well, Yahweh's will is like a wave in the ocean of his nature. It's not like Yahweh's nature is like standing here, and then Yahweh's nature like just like will, like that's like and then Yahweh's just like, oh, tell me what to do, master. Nature, tell me what to do. And then Yahweh's nature's like, all right, will do this. And then Will's like, okay, nature, and goes. It's stupid. It's a goofy cartoon. But that's how he was thinking about Yahweh's nature, because he's like, Yahweh's will can't actually be free because his nature. I'm like, so it was stupid. I was like, why would there be such a feature as a will without a nature? Because that's how he started sounding like. Because I realized when he says free will, he literally meant like a weird Platonic abstraction of will, like this weird will that's like.
I think the abstraction is getting over my head. Like all these like different components of like nature, will.
Well, nature is just like you could say like just the happening, the substance, the fact that you are, the are-ness, like the being. Okay. He was saying the fact that Yahweh is what's making him will. And I'm like, no, like it's not, because he puts it as almost like a compulsion, like he's like Yahweh's nature forces him, but it's more like it's not, because that puts it as like, oh, he's like his will is like I can't help it, I'm doing this. It's more like it's like an impulse. It's not a compulsion, it's an impulsion. Okay. He's like it's a mere expression, kind of like the fact that like
Okay, so are you saying that? Because the way it sounds like to me, this guy, the way he broke it down, he's breaking down God. God is not breakdownable.
Yes, that's why I put it as like Yahweh's will is an ocean, is a wave in the ocean of his nature. Mm-hmm. Because it's like you have to be a way to express a way. But to say like, well, your expression is forced by you being. I'm like, that's a weird way to say it. Why would you say it like that? Okay. So that's why I was saying like, no, your expression is an impulse of your being. It's not a compulsion. Because a compulsion implies, because it was like lots of sophistry. Like he kept on changing the argument and saying different things. Because fundamentally he was just trying to make it seem like that was a stupid idea. I'm trying to say like he can't exist because it's like this. Because at first he was saying like Yahweh can't be weak, and therefore that's why he's weak. Like that was literally one of his arguments. He kept on saying all sorts of stupid stuff. It's like, well, if he's all powerful, why can't he do like things that power can't do. I'm like, that's stupid. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
I kind of get what he's getting at because he's limited by his justice, right?
No. Even what you're saying is actually smarter than his. His actually saying you could say he's taking words that have like he doesn't get how ideas operate. Like that's one of the things that my other friend Justin pointed out about him too. Like he'll take like when I said like power, right? Power is the ability to make happening. Like there's a happen. But he puts us like, why can't power be powerless? And because power can't be powerless, therefore it's not actually power. I'm like, by definition, power can't be powerless. Okay. So that was the problem, and that's how he kept on talking. He would say things just like you're just saying things and negating it. You're just speaking contradictions. You're making a contradictory statement, and then you're projecting it onto what the statement, you're projecting it onto the object that we're thinking about, and saying therefore it's negated in this way because your statement is contradictory. Therefore, the object it's projected on, not actually rendered by, is contradictory. It was stupid.
Okay, I feel like we're moving away a bit from.
Okay, yeah. Let's get back. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
He's powerful, but he still became powerless in Jesus.
Yes.
But anyways.
Yes, of course. But he's saying he was making a worse argument. He was saying like he can't even be.
He's kind of straw man.
Yeah, there's nothing straw man. He was just like, why can't ultimate power just be powerless? This basically like almost amounts like he was almost saying like, why can't existence not exist? Mm-hmm. And it's like if existence can't exist, it's not actually existence. Like that's how that's an equivalent. That's literally the equivalent of what he was saying when he talked about power not being powerless.
So is he saying that because power can't make itself powerless, it doesn't really have power?
Yes.
Okay, that's stupid.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay,
that's
it.
Exactly. That's how I was frustrated. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you're just playing around with words. You're just putting things together. Like,
yeah, it's just semantics.
Yeah, it's just like you're saying a word and then you're emptying it of its content. Then you're inserting content that gets rid of the form.
The stuff that happened in the Bible just proved his point wrong.
Exactly.
Because he did become powerless.
Yeah, but not in the way that he's saying.
Yeah, in a different way.
In a different way. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But the reason I'm saying this is because I was trying to explain to you the nature of like because you're basically you're struggling with the whole like God's sovereignty and you could say predestination, if you will, mm-hmm. versus our agency.
Yeah.
But the predestination is at the level of being, the fact that you're predestined to be as you are, mm-hmm. to exist a certain way.
Yeah.
There's a feature because I can't explain it because there's no structures for it, and this is high philosophy, honestly. Like it's just like mere being, by virtue of being, you are as a particular way, and that particular way, you're preset to be that way because you didn't always exist. You know what I'm saying? You're not Yahweh. Mm-hmm. So by virtue of coming to be in Yahweh, you are set to be a certain way. Mm-hmm. But now as you are within this creation of the Creator, you have options on ways to be. But Yahweh, being as He is, knows how you will be, mm-hmm. irrespective to what option that you choose. Mm-hmm. So you keep jumping from here to try to get His perspective, and so you're saying, "But in your perspective, you knew I'd be like this." It's kind of like it almost makes me think like imagine like a kid who's like about to do something, and like his mom is watching him or something, and he's like, well, you know me better than I know myself, and I feel like because you know me, if I choose bad, you'll say, you made it so I would choose bad. You knew I would choose bad, and you'll punish me anyway. But if I choose good, you reward me, and that's cool and all. But still, you're like, it becomes like it's like kid, just choose what's good. You know what I mean? It's just like you don't like. It's almost like a weird thing. Where it's like I guess trying to like capture the observer and sustaining feature mm-hmm. of you, and trying to make it be like by virtue.
Are you saying it's fruitless for us to try to get the vantage point of God by saying He knows everything?
It's not just that. It's like a. Because I remember there was a period where
like what only matters is your agency.
No, I'm saying
to choose good.
Okay, yeah. In some ways, yes. That's the main focus right here.
Yeah.
As far as when it comes to you.
Yeah.
But I think what trips people up is like, oh, you get the vantage, like, okay, God knows everything, mm-hmm. and God sustains and allows everything. But as a thing in the every, we having options to be a certain way, we feel if we do bad, because notice it's all predicated on the bad. If it was all like, oh, if like it was all set up like, well, imagine like Yahweh said, like, oh, everyone's gonna do good.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's what it was in Eden.
Yeah, but it's like
except the tree.
Yeah, but the tree was set up so like you could obviously, because the tree situation is so obvious too. It was just like, oh, what made you? I mean, take Adam. Like Adam, you literally saw. Well, you fell asleep, but Eve was there and whatever, and now he's like, okay, cool. I made all this. I made all you. Blah blah blah. Listen to me. Don't do this. Don't do that. Then a serpent comes and tracks, and they're like, hey, I don't believe God. Did God really say that? Hey, doubt. Don't believe that. Like, hey, you can become like God. Hey, huh? And it's just like, if they were thinking about it, it's like, wait, how can I, who just emerged here, become what let me emerge on my own by listening to this guy? If they thought it through, it was like, this doesn't make any sense. But they weren't thinking it through because they were driven by their desire. They wanted something. They're like, oh, I want to become like that. So they didn't actually fully think it through, because every sin, every disobedience with Yahweh is usually due to lack of knowledge, ignorance, self-deception, forgetting, all sorts of stuff. I mean, you could just put it as like you don't know what is the case. You're out of touch with what's true. You're out of touch with wisdom. You're misaligned with God. Like there's a way in which to disobey God is to misalign with God prior to disobeying. But before you disobey, like if you feel motivated to disobey, you ask yourself, am I aligned with God? How do I align with God? You won't disobey. You see what I mean? So it's like there's a way in which you already disobeyed in your motivations, then you translate it into action, and that gave rise to sin. But if in your motivations you're like, you're watching with your consciousness, okay, I feel driven to like do this that's against God. How do I, let me just give it to God. Okay, I'll just do what God wants me to do. You can just choose to will and do what God wants you to do, even if that's not what you want, even if that's what this desire is inclining you towards, or that's desire, like your conscience wants to fuse with and go with.
Right. So are you saying they should have asked God first?
Pretty much. Yeah. That's all they had to do. Like they was like, hey, like, oh God, this serpent's telling me like you're lying to us. What's going on? Can you argue with it? Let me hear you two argue. Like, what's going on? They could have easily done that.
Yeah. I didn't think of that.
I mean, that's basically what Jesus did with when the devil was tempting him in the force. Like, hey, let me quote scriptures. Like, argue with this verse. You just said this. Oh, okay. Because the devil's like, hey, argue with God. Like, did God really say that? He also said this. Hey, think this way.
Yeah.
So then Jesus is like, okay, well, here's the actual verse. Can you refute that? So as soon as Jesus threw it back to him, the devil didn't say anything. Oh, let me change the topic. Let me go to another thing. You see? It's very clever. I mean, Jesus lays out the
those
pattern.
Those 3 sins are the exact sins that the Israelite went through in the desert too.
Yeah.
With the manna and the quail.
Yep. Yeah, the theme was expressing itself. It's fascinating. Though you have to explain that to me because I'm not that familiar with it. Did you watch some from the Exodus videos? Because I haven't finished that series.
No. It's something that I think my friend told me. My friend in the cult.
Oh, okay.
Because like the devil tempted the Israelites to be like, you guys are hungry,
right?
And Jesus refuted that by saying, you don't live by bread alone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good.
And then God was like, okay, fine, here's birds and manna.
Right.
And the other one was, I think, kingdom or something like.
Yeah. All the kingdoms of the world will be yours if you worship me. If you, who are literally God, who made all this, if you submit to me, who's a creature.
Yeah. That was the temptation to worship the golden calf.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. On point.
I forgot the second one, but anyways.
Toss yourself off the temple so people will see like God's angels will carry you. Like you demonstrate a miracle, a wondrous miracle in front of these religious people.
I don't know how it relates to the Israelites on that one. But anyways, God redeems the Israelites through his actions.
Yeah. But no, in fact, even on the Jesus miracles thing, that thing's actually interesting pondering because it's like here's some different dimensions of it. You could say the power, the temptation of like rule over all nations in a way that's in tune with how this world is running. Another one is like now satisfy religious people. You could say people who are seeking spirituality and stuff, and miracle or whatever, in a way that satisfies them and optimizes you. Like there's a way in which the devil's giving him shortcuts, if you will. Yeah. Like, here, take this. This is direct. Like, the most easiest way to get what you want. Because the devil knew his goals. Like, oh, well, in the end, you're gonna rule over the nations, and you're gonna see that you're supreme, and they're gonna also get the satisfaction that you want by, whatever. So just do it my way. He's like, no. God has his own way. And that's you could say that's a microcosm of us and God. Where the devil's like, hey, do it your way, Tay. And God's like, no, do it my way, Tay. So Jesus shows like, see, even as in the flesh, even me being God in the flesh, the devil still tries to use my godliness on me to go about it his way. By making me think it's my way. It's a really weird, like, it's like an interesting trick.
It's the Gnostic inversion. It's always the Gnostic inversion.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, look, I know your goal. I'll get you your goal, God. Like, oh, Jesus, like Jesus, God. Like, I'll get your goal, but do it through my means. And Jesus is like, no, I have my means that will make it more impressive and complete when I do my goal. Notice the completion part. Yeah. Because that's something that Jesus kept on repeating. Like, he's like, I did not come to end the law. I came to fulfill it. I came to complete it. Pluru. That's a Greek word. And then, what was the other word? When he went to John the Baptist. John the Baptist was like, he had John the Baptist baptize me.
Yeah.
And then John the Baptist was like, no, you should be baptizing me. What? What's going on? And he's like, no, it's fulfill all righteousness. Complete it.
Okay,
Let's do it right.
I don't quite get that. Explain that to me. That verse.
Okay, Jesus follows procedure.
Yeah.
And John the Baptist, he's actually, he's a descendant of a priest. He's a priest.
Yeah.
And
with Levites.
Yeah, Levites. And notice Jesus, when he saw Jesus, he said, the Lamb of God.
Yes.
And the priest sacrificed lamb.
Yes.
So you could say that baptism was him affirming Jesus' purity.
Because there was a ceremony for the Levites to kind of introduce the lamb or something. Pick out the lamb.
Yeah, pick out the lamb to show them to be pure and spotless.
Him baptizing
Jesus. And then getting confirmation from God speaking, this is my beloved son, and whom I am well pleased. You see?
Okay,
see how they're all constellating? It's so clever, I swear. It's so clever.
And John the Baptist came from the line of Levites too.
Yeah, he was a priest, yeah. But notice how God didn't do it how they were expecting it. A priest who's like living in the wild, eating locusts and honey.
That fulfills prophecy too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fascinating, and that's why, and that's what you keep seeing. Like even like the fact that the Bible sets out this algorithm. So when you get it, you're like, Yahweh will not do things how you expect it. And in fact, Jesus gave an easy, you could say, metaphor for it. He's like, the metaphor for the Spirit, for him, even how he works, is it's like the wind. You don't know where it starts and you don't know where it's going, but you see its effects. And that's kind of how it even felt like when you were, in fact, if you think about it, this kind of feels like if you're interacting with anyone you don't know really well. Mm-hmm. Like they seem non-linear. It's like, why do you do what you're doing? Mm-hmm. But the only reason why we could say we could follow each other is because we have a particular culture and tradition, like, and certain situations set up like afford for us to have certain ways of acting on things, so we can predict each other, not because we're predictable merely, but also because situations structure us and incline us to have certain patterns of responding to it. Where it's like you can either do this or this. Okay. So as a result, it kind of gives you a sense of like this person chooses this option.
I can hold it.
No, it's fine. So yeah, that's why we're more predictable. But since God does not have that, but He gives that. That's what makes it harder to get Him.
Okay, getting back to the free will versus sovereignty.
Yeah.
Sovereignty.
Yeah.
Yahweh's sovereignty.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm grasping. Yahweh is the noise, the random, not the random, but everything.
You could call it the random because randomness is just whatever you can't predict, whatever you can't control or measure.
He contains all the possibilities.
Yes.
And by virtue of you being in it, He already knows the music that's coming out of you.
Yes.
For us, we should just know that He is all of potential itself.
Yes.
And He knows
potential, potency, power.
Yeah. He knows where we're gonna be.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't go beyond that. We shouldn't try to blame God for not intervening in our lives when we have a discordant note in our music.
Yeah, disharmony or that stuff. Yeah.
Disharmony.
Yeah, and even like lines that may be cut too short, or you could say silences. Okay. You know, like this. Because one of my friends, Justin, the guy I told you about, him and I were arguing with this atheist guy. I don't remember how to pronounce it. His name is Dub. Interesting enough. I'm not sure if that's his real name, but whatever. Anyway, he made a post where he was like thinking about, it's interesting how people ask for freedom, but they also ask for God to like intervene and control things whenever it benefits them. While it's like it's a fascinating interaction where it's like if every single individual person wanted God's influence and control and help at their time, at their particular moment, there's a way in which, like, I don't know, it's hard to say this, actually. It's hard to argue, because I don't know, but it's just, I guess from my current vantage, it just strikes me as like, that's a way to create more chaos than chaos. Like, more chaos than the chaos we see now. In the sense, like, especially if it's like, it also creates a lack of intimacy with God. It creates a lack of intimacy with us, where it's like, it's kind of like, oh, let me put it this way, the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln was like, the Northerners were praying to win, but the Southerners were praying to win. Who's God gonna listen to? So it's like, that's kind of like the situation it would create, where it's like, oh, this person's like, this person's trying to, I'm trying to, like, I want to win the Super Bowl, God. Well, this one wants to win the Super Bowl. So that's what I mean. It's like, if God was like always doing what we wanted, our way, in our time, lots of things would not happen.
Okay.
There'd be stagnation in certain places, and there'd be chaos in other places.
Okay.
And in fact, Bruce Almighty plays on that theme. His jokes around. It's like, oh, like Bruce Almighty said, yes to all. Like, you've ever seen that movie? Like, he was like, I'm answering everyone's prayer, yes to all, and it just like messed everything up.
I think when I'm like posing the confusion that God knows all, and He already knows that Jesus is not coming out of Saul's line, but still gives him the he gives him the opportunity to be good, regardless of his knowledge. I'm not saying that like God should have intervened.
Right.
And
because the thing is, I mean, I get what you. I mean, I know that's not what you're saying, but it's like Samuel's frustration with Saul was like, look, all you had to do was just do what he says. Because Saul couldn't make any excuses. He kept on like, and then like he was like, well, I didn't follow this plan because I wanted to do this good thing for you, like, just making things up. And then Samuel's like, look, to obey is better than to sacrifice. Where it's like, you put it as like, well, you're lying, first of all, but you're saying, I'm keeping what God told me to get rid of so I can give it to him. It's like, no, but God told you to get rid of everything in this case. So all you had to do was just follow through what he told you to do. But because you keep disobeying, now you won't be it. Because you're not a man after God's motivations, God's purpose, God's own heart. So that's why God chose David, who didn't seem that impressive. Because like when Samuel, the prophet, went to anoint the next king in Jesse's family, he went through all the brothers. And then when he saw David, he was like, this guy? Like, this guy's small. Like, what? Even though he was handsome, he was like, but why is this guy, this short guy? Like, what's going on? And then God was like, don't look at the surface. I don't look at people the way you do. I look at their heart. In a sense, like, what's their motivation? What's their intention? What's their purpose? What do they want? And David is described as a person who wanted God's motivations, God's intent, God's purpose. David was basically asking, in fact, you'll know, like, there's like, because that's the question I'm asking too. And that's the question like every Christian should ask their follower Jesus, like, what do you want out of this creation? What do you want out of my life? How do you want the world to work? And how do I help you fulfill that plan? How do I contribute to that? And that's why God chose David. Of course, David messed up too, of course. But he was still in tune with that. He was able to come up and align with that.
Did he repent after?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, after he slept with Bathsheba and killed her husband.
When?
Huh?
I didn't. I think I missed that.
Yeah, he repented. Yeah, in fact, that's where Psalm 51 comes from. After, like, when it was like, have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love, according to your steadfast love. If I remember, blot out my transgressions.
Okay.
Like that whole prayer that he gives and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Well, that song, yeah.
But it was in, what was it? Was it in First Kings? When? No.
I don't remember. I think 2 Samuel. Maybe 2 Samuel, 1 Kings. Yeah, probably like that. One of those. Okay. I don't remember.
Anyways, okay.
It's a fascinating thing because it's like, it's kind of like, I can almost imagine like, oh, we can't do this because in some ways we can't actually, you can say, I mean, some ways we kind of can. Like, you set up a situation where it's like, okay, let me put as many possibilities for these particular rules and constants in place for interactions to happen. But let me let some of these be self-automated to affirm or negate and have options to tune to me as the maker of the game, or to tune to themselves, or to tune to other players and so on. And then see how that unfolds. Yet, me knowing all the different ways the game works, all the constants, all the rules, and all the options, letting it unfold and being like, I can work through whatever happens. Since I have my own mind, while I'm allowing the game to happen.
Okay, no. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that's a better metaphor, yeah.
It's like you make a board game, you know every way
yeah.
you can win or lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a video game.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I sometimes use the video game metaphor, because it's like, it captures a lot.
Okay, so as the game creator, Not sure what I'm still like
I mean,
doubting
I
about.
mean, you're covering a lot of stuff.
Huh?
You're covering a lot of stuff. I mean,
There's still something in the sovereign versus free will thing that I'm not completely letting go of. Like, not trusting. Or some part of my ego is still like, what is it saying? It's
like it's set up against you, or well, it's gonna fail anyway, or it doesn't matter what I do because it'll work out how it works out, or what?
partly, yes.
And therefore, it'll most likely work out bad, or therefore
No,
it doesn't matter what I do, or
as
what?
long as I try to keep tuning my music as I go, in the sense that praying,
Yeah,
seeking the word,
yeah, doing what he wants you to do, obeying, yeah,
trying to seek the divine harmony,
yeah,
or the instruction for divine harmony, the Bible.
right,
Seek what the conductor wants this music to be.
right.
I get to be a part of the divine
Yes,
song,
exactly. That's what he
rather
wants.
than be the dissonance that he's gonna use for good anyways.
Yes,
I should try to be the good.
yes, that's what he wants.
But why? What, hold up, why? But okay. Okay, it's satisfactory for now, but I think something's gonna come up in a few days.
As it should.